the goal is knowledge, not information, and true knowledge is applied knowledge,
Right.
right? So a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm very knowledgeable," though. I'm like, no, you just have a lot of information. That's
Right.
just organized data, right? But actual, applied knowledge is when you can do it and your life demonstrates that. So I think, and true results in life, any results we're looking for, are only created by action.
Financial independence,
freedom,
financial picture,
Independent financially,
financial future,
financial freedom and wealth,
financial independence.
Get your fill, financial independence and long life. Welcome to another episode of Get Your Fill, Financial Independence and Long Life, where we explore ways to achieve those two goals. And very successful, intelligent people come on to help us. Like today, Anmol Singh is with us. He is a stock market trader and investor, and he's the author of Prepping for Success, 10 Keys for Making It in Life. And I think that's what we all want to do, right, Anmol? We all want to make it in life.
Yep, that's all we're all striving towards anyway.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Definitely. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to chatting with you.
Yeah, me too. So it's 10 keys. What do you think is like a number one thing that everybody should be doing to make it in life? Well, first of all, how do you define that? How would you say when you say, okay, I'm going to help you make it in life? What does that mean?
Yeah, so make it in life, is going to mean different things to different people. And I think that's one of the things with success is when you think about success, people define it as like monetary success or financial success. But, what good is financial success if, let's say, your relationships are a mess, you can't even get along with people, right? That's not really successful. And the same way, you could be in the best shape of your life, you have great relationships, but your finances are not in order, and that's not success either. So the way I define success is achieving success in all areas of your life, but more than that, you being okay with where you're at in each of those areas. Because if you're okay with each of those areas and how you're doing, guess what? You're going to feel successful. You're going to be successful. But if there's a certain area that you didn't perhaps, are not operating at a full cylinder and you could be doing better, then that's going to nag you a little bit. And even though you might have that success, it's not going to feel successful. So I think everybody will have a different way of success, and the definition can evolve and change over time. When I didn't make any money, financial success was my only definition. But this year and coming into the new year, my definition of success is more to do with my health and to get that in order. So I think, you being okay with where you're at in each of those areas.
Well, it's so true. And you bring up a good point about balance, right? Let's say that some of these things, like you don't have good health. So all of a sudden, who cares what else is going on? But that has to be your number one priority because this is happening and, oh man, I've got this problem and everything else suddenly takes a back seat. And then when that's all going, you forget about your health and you're like, oh, I just need to get more money or whatever. So if you can sort of try to, right, maintain that balance in your goals and stuff, then definitely helps, I guess, to keep things
Yeah.
rolling.
And more than balance, I would say harmony,
Yes.
because when we're trying to balance something, we're automatically saying, oh, this is imbalanced or this is not correctly balanced. And that's already a psychology where you are thinking about, I need to balance things. It's a very scarcity type of mindset.
Yeah.
Whereas if you say, okay, I want to harmonize all these areas, I want to create harmony between my health, finances, relationships. So it's like a harmonic little wheel. And I think that's more of something that I would want to strive for.
Yeah, and I love that word. I appreciate that correction because it is, as soon as you said harmony, I actually thought of some of these areas of your life working together, right? So, you want to you've got family and health, like, oh, okay, I'm going to do some healthy things with my family. And all of a sudden it's not like a little of this and a little of that. It's actually, you're right. That was good. That's good.
Thank you.
Harmony. So what's one thing that you think is like a pillar that people really have to understand and focus on in order to have any kind of harmony?
I think the most fundamental pillar is integrity, like having integrity. Now, the way I define it is, being your word, honoring your word, and then doing what you said you're going to do, and then doing it when you said you're going to do it. Because that is the foundation of anything and everything, because you can learn the best strategies on, get your health in order, like the whole biohacking thing, every little thing you can do to maximize your performance. And then you can learn the best financial strategies. You can have the best financial advisor, hedge funds. You can learn how to trade stocks. You get all of that in order. But if you don't have integrity, if you don't follow through on your own word, if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, then everything falls apart, right? No strategies would matter. Nothing's going to work. So I think that is the biggest thing. And a lot of times people say, but I'm a person of integrity. I'm like, really? When's the last time somebody called you and he said, hey, I'm just in the middle of something. Let me call you back. and you never did. Right? So you just said something, right? Or you ran into an airport or a mall into an old friend from high school or college, and you're like, "Hey, good to see you. We should totally catch up." And then you go home and you never make any attempt to catch up with them, right? So I think you just said something, and it's a very interesting question. Why do we say that, right? To try to look good, to avoid looking bad, to try to like come from a place of, you know, just let's not have any confrontation. Let me just say this and it's over, right? And then I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
But it goes into our unconscious mind because we start saying things and we don't follow through. And then slow and behold, it goes into our finances. I should be investing. I'm going to start, and then you don't.
Yeah.
I should be eating healthy, but then you start and then you don't, right? And so that cycle just continues over and over in all other areas. So even though it's a small little thing of not making a call back, that leads into all the other areas and you don't even notice it.
Well, it's true because what you're saying is you have even integrity when you talk to yourself, right? Don't say something to yourself that you don't mean, that you have no intention of following through on.
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't feel good, right? Because I mean, I'm guilty of that too. Like early this year, I was like, all right, yeah, I've chased that money dream, chased that business dream, travel, the world, but now I got to focus on my health. And I realize it's kind of hard to get back on the wagon. If you've been traveling for like last 5 years, now it's kind of hard to get into a routine. And I noticed in myself, I was like, okay, I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start this from Monday. And Monday comes and you're like, well, let me just answer these
Oh,
emails.
Tuesday's a
Let me
good
get the
day.
work done. Yeah. Now it's like 8 p.m. It's too late. Let me just start tomorrow. And then tomorrow's Thursday, obviously. So let's just start to next Monday. Then next Monday is like the 20th of the month. So let's just start on the 1st. And it just keeps going and going. And now it's the new year coming up. We'll just start from the new year.
Yeah,
So I think
exactly.
and the buck keeps moving forward. So I think if we want to achieve our goals, we gotta have that, vision of, okay, let me do it right now. Let me follow through on my word. If don't say it, don't say you're gonna do it, right? Because it's better not saying it than saying it and not doing it.
Yeah. Well, when you were talking about like running into some old person, somebody at the mall, like, what are you going to say? Like, oh, I hope we never see each other again.
No, it was great to see, but then don't say we should
Yeah,
totally.
I'll call you next week, right? You just
Yeah,
say like, it's so great. I'm so glad you're doing well. Take care of
yeah.
yourself, right?
Take care
That's
of
all you have to
yourself.
say.
Have a great one. If you don't have any intention of, keeping that connection, then just be honest. Be like, really good to see you. All the best. Take
Yeah,
care. That's it.
yeah, exactly.
But what do we always say? No, let's make a plan. We should totally catch up. And then you're just busy and you just keep pushing them forward and you
Yeah,
never actually catch up
exactly.
with them.
Kicking the
So,
can down the road. That's it.
right.
Yeah, integrity is definitely a big one. And like, integrity with the way we talk to ourselves, the way we talk to others. And there's no need to tell yourself that you're going to start that diet tomorrow or you're going to start that healthy eating plan tomorrow. Just be like, what can I do right now?
Yeah,
What can I eat or not eat? What can I do or not do right now that's going to make me one step closer to where I want to be?
100%.
Yeah. So then I guess that was a really good one. How about like a number two thing that you think is really important?
So I think number two is there's a lot of number twos, but I think the important one that I kind of think about is not getting stuck in the learning loop, which I find happens all the time, because a lot of the things that I wrote in my book are originally written as notes to myself. Here's the thing I need to stop doing, or here's the thing I need to do. And that's how it turned into a book later on. The
Yeah.
second thing was not getting stuck in the learning loop, which a lot of people are stuck in, which is they go from one podcast to another podcast, one YouTube video to another YouTube
Yeah.
video. Let me take this one online course to another workshop to another seminar.
Yeah.
And then they have tons of books that they've never read past like the 10th page. And they have all the book collection, right? But they never actually finish it. Or even if they finish it, they don't actually apply what's in the
Right.
book. And
Yeah.
I think that's called the learning loop, where you're just stuck. You think something's missing, so you just try to get more information. Just you become an information hoarder. You have
Yeah.
all the information in the world, but your life doesn't demonstrate you taking action on that. It doesn't demonstrate, there's no evidence of you acting on that information.
Right.
So I think one of the things that I talk about in the book is start applying things. And every single chapter ends with here's the 5 things you need to do before you move on to the next chapter.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got to do these 5 things, apply it, ingrain it, and then you can go to the second chapter. Because a lot of times people just read the book and they brag about it. I've read 10 books this month. I'm like, but you're not doing anything
Done
though.
anything.
You haven't done anything. So I think that's one of the things I want to avoid. People should avoid is catching yourself because it's a dopamine hit, right? Signing up to that seminar, signing up to
Right.
that
Right.
workshop, and you think you just achieved something, but the achievement is in the action.
Absolutely. Yeah. Analysis paralysis too, right? But it's if there's fear there too, right? You're like, oh, what if I don't have enough information? What if I do this thing and I do it wrong?
Yeah, but then the flip side is what if you have too much information and now time's up. You just got all this information in the world. You're 60, 70, 80, 90 years old. What are you going to do with all that information? You
Right.
didn't ask anything. Life just went by. So I think a way to look at it is like, the goal is knowledge, not information. And true knowledge is applied knowledge,
Right.
right? So a lot of people say, oh, I'm very knowledgeable though. I'm like, no, you just have a lot of information. That's
Right.
just organized data. Right. But actual, applied knowledge is when you can do it and your life demonstrates that. So I think, and true results in life, any results we're looking for are only created by action. But
Yes.
I could go right now and finish all the 10 books on health, on working out, the strategies to the maximizing my workouts, the keto diet, the paleo diet. I could do all of that. But guess what? Nothing's going to change.
Exactly.
It's going to change. So I think that's one of the things people have to catch themselves do that. And we all do it to time to time. I mean, I did it in myself. I mean, I did it as of early this year for my health. But now I'm kind of in the process of, okay, we're going to be working out every day. Here's what we're going to be eating. We can stick into the guidelines, taking action, and results will not be clear right now, but a year from now, results will be very clear. So I think
Right.
that is one of the things people need to look at as long-term vision rather than the short-term temptations.
Yeah. And what kind of mistakes do you see people typically making when they're just getting started doing stock trading?
I think not having a strong emotional psychology, because anybody can learn how to trade. Like if somebody spends a weekend with me, I can teach them all the strategies and teach them how to trade. But
Yeah.
are you going to be able to do it is a different story. Again, you have all the information as it relates to the stock market and trading, but then applying that and trading is more emotional than anything else. Everything I learned about psychology is through trading. Trading was the biggest personal development journey that I've ever embarked on because it brings out the best in you. It also brings out the worst in you. And when you're risking, let's say millions of dollars every single day, and you see that account move, one day you're up, one day you're down, and that can really affect your psychology. And people make that mistake all the time is a stock is going down and they just keep holding. I'm like, why didn't you get out and just take a small loss? Oh, I think it'll come back up. And then they buy more, right? And then they keep holding. And now before you know it, they're still holding, let's say on a cryptocurrency, it's down 90% or whatever. And then they still keep holding. Why did you not get out? Not having a clear plan, not having strong psychology. And
Yeah.
same way when everything was going up, right? Remember, Bitcoin is going to 70,000. And some people are still holding. I'm like, why don't you not sell? Greed. So the
Right.
two primary emotions of fear and greed are what moves the stock market.
Yes, it's true, right? If we can get inside people's heads, we'd have like an insider information. Like, well, how is this gonna impact people emotionally? Because
Mm.
it's so true.
Yeah.
So your philosophy of trading, I know there are a lot of different ways to look at the stock market, to look at any type of financial investing. What is your sort of, how do you feel like your way of looking at it differs from, another like a Wall Street trader or something like that?
Yeah, I think a lot of Wall Street like is focused on action, right? It's just about taking the trades, what's the next trade, and it's very glorified. If you watch movies related to Wall Street, very glorified that action, it's very glorified. But real trading is really boring. I tell people all the time, if you're having too much adrenaline when you're trading, you're doing it wrong. You're risking way too much. So good trading is very boring. Half the time we're just waiting, staring at our screens for the right opportunities. And then when we see it, we pounce on it. Kind of like the lion and the gazelle story, right? So the lion is hiding in the bushes. There's, I don't know if it's a pack of gazelle or herd of gazelle, something like that. Bunch of gazelles, right?
Yeah.
Going, the lion's not just going to pounce in the middle of hundreds of them and try to capture them. He's going to wait for that lonely gazelle that gets left behind in the pack, right? And then it's getting the pack is moving forward. The gazelle is left behind. Then the lion pounces on the lonely gazelle, grabs it, brings it back into the bush. So that's kind of what we do as traders. Half the time we're just sitting there waiting for the right opportunity based on the plan that we've created, the plan, the criteria that we have. Once we hit that criteria, we just take the trade and then we come back. So I think half the trading is that. So I think that's kind of what our philosophy is more about. Strategic trading is not about action. It's about generating returns. It's about generating income. It's your life's hard work. And we try to gamble with it. It's a very systematic approach. And a
Yeah.
lot of it's based in creating strong people, strong psychology. Like a lot of my clients are ex-CEOs. They've made millions of dollars, sold their companies for millions of dollars, but they come into trading and they think that their prior success is going to give them an edge. No, Market treats everybody the same. You could be a
Yeah.
janitor, you could be a farmer, you could be ex-CEO. Market does not care who you are. It's going to do what it's going to do. So I think getting yourself out of the way and learning your psychology is the biggest focus that we have. And because trading research has been done, trading releases the same hormones of dopamine and serotonin, the same ones you get when you're having sex, when you gamble, right? When you're doing illicit drugs. Now, as traders, though, we're getting that every single day. So if you're not emotionally strong, you could really do some damage. And we saw that in the financial crisis, right?
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of what we focus on the most.
Yeah, it's true because you do get that. It can become addictive, right? You want to keep getting that feeling, and whether or
Yeah,
not it makes sense, whether or not what you're doing, your actions are actually logical and are going to bring you what you just want to feel that way again.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So is it more like day trading type of thing, or you like shorter term opportunities? You're not looking at something that I'm going to hold for 5 years, right?
So I consider myself like a trader. I know there's specialists, some people only day trade, some people do this. I call myself like an opportunist. Whether there's an opportunity. If I see an
Mhm.
opportunity to make money the same day as a day trade, I'll take the day trade. If I see that, okay, this stock is going to be the good one for the next 5 years. I think Tesla is going to be, let's say, $500 in the next, 2 or 3 years, then that's a long-term play for me, right? So I'm going to hold that and I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to mess around with it. I'm not even going to watch it go up and down every day because
Yeah,
that's a long-term plan. Why am I looking at it every day? No
yeah,
reason to. And then there'll be some short-term trades I'll take, which I'll hold for a few days, few weeks, some that I'll get out in and out the same day. So there's three different styles. The day trading is the income producing style.
yeah,
So that's what we do every single day as a job, just to trade every single day to
yeah,
generate an income, to pay the bills, to live off it. And then a percentage of what I make from my trading, I put that in my investment account. That I'm not touching. That I'm just going to let it go and let it build. So there's
yeah.
many different ways that we manage the money.
Well, that's the way, that's what you want to do with any type of investment, right? That's basically diversification within the stock bucket, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So, how many hours would you say you spend each day actually looking for opportunities, analyzing,
I would say,
doing your job
typically
as a,
it's 9 to 12 is kind of the main time frame. So 9 to 9:30, 30 minutes before the market open, we're just kind of seeing what's happening, what news came out this morning, what we're going to plan for. 9:30, the market opens. I'll trade roughly till about 12 p.m. till noon. And I run a live stream every day. So every day I trade, it's live streamed, win or lose. People get to see it in real time. I do it more for myself because it keeps me very disciplined, knowing that thousands of people are watching.
yeah,
So I got to stay on my A game. So we live stream every single day. Every single day I've traded for the last 5 years, it's been live streamed. So win or lose, it's real time. And then after 12, I'm not really involved with the market. I'll have like certain things I'm looking at. Like I'll have some alerts set. Hey, let me know if this stock gets to this price.
yeah,
And if
yeah,
that alert goes off on my phone, then I'll come on my desk, see what's going on. But
yeah.
until then, I mean, 12 o'clock is really it. And the rest of the day is chatting to great people like you.
Great, great. And do you specialize in like, for example, like tech or whatever? Is there like a specialty? Because it's hard to know every single sector, right?
Yeah, so our style is based on technical analysis. So it's
Mhm.
based more on the charts and statistics and data as opposed to the actual inner workings of a company.
Mhm.
So we don't focus a lot on that because there's no edge for us people in that area. But think
Yeah,
about it, we're competing with people from Goldman Sachs, they have an analyst, 500 people team, and they have the research article coming to the minute. So if you're reading an article online, which millions of other people have, there's no
right.
edge in that, right? So there's no advantage you have. So we get our advantage based on charts, and that's based on just like a casino. A casino knows that okay, it's going to win. It has 2% edge, let's say, so it's going to win no matter how much you play, win or lose, doesn't matter to them. Same way in trading, we create a system which has an edge. So I know that okay, if I take trades, I'm going to win, let's say half the trades, and I'm going to lose half the trades. So if I take 10 trades, I'm going to lose on half, I'm going to win on half. But my winners are twice the size of my losers. So statistically, it's impossible for me not to make money
Right.
just by that statistical ratio. So we just execute on that model. That's why I said my trading is a bit boring, because it's very systematic. It's not gambling, it's not speculating, or it's not going for home runs. It's singles and doubles all the way through.
Yeah. So how are you getting like, how do you find what companies you are interested in?
So we have certain strategies, patterns that we look for on a chart. And then we have alerts set up in our software that lets us know, okay, this is what's setting up. And then there's also certain art to it. There's a skill to it. Like if you learn how to read charts, then you can kind of spot these patterns happening. and then you kind of time it based on that. So the sector itself or the research itself is not that important
Yeah.
unless we're doing long-term investing, right? Because if I'm only going to be in a stock for a few days or a few minutes, it doesn't matter what the CEO is like, what the management of the company is, or what their balance sheet's like. Those stuff only matter when you're holding something for more than, let's say, 3 years or something.
Yeah.
So that's when we look at the companies and we look at the data and things like that. Yeah.
Interesting. So, so just, I mean, I have to ask this question because you seem to know what you're talking about. And I wonder, like with Tesla, like what happens if Elon Musk gets hit by a car, right? I mean, if he's gone, I feel like he is Tesla. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you feel like the company would still be really great and valuable without him?
Tesla is now at a point where Apple was, let's say, 2010, right? So like Steve Jobs' time, right? So Steve Jobs, that was the same thing. If Steve Jobs goes, Apple's going to be destroyed. There's no innovator. Steve Jobs was Apple.
Yeah.
But then, and in the beginning, that was the case even with Tesla,
Yeah.
right? But now Tesla is such an international company, and it's taken off a trajectory of its own that Elon's actually not even involved in the company. He's got the management team, he's got CEOs. They're actually running the company, but yeah, he's still the face of the company, and he's
Yeah.
still the innovator behind it, just like Steve Jobs was. So yes, if something happens to Elon, the stock will drop, right? For the maybe a few months, for a few weeks, it will drop, no doubt about that. But long term, just like Apple, right? It's going to be right back up because now the company has taken a life of its own. It's an international company with offices in China, now opening in India, all around the US. Managers managing it. So Elon's actually not even involved in the day-to-day of the company anymore. So as a company, it won't be affected. But what will be affected is the Steve Jobs effect, right? When
Yeah.
like how much have iPhones innovated after Steve Jobs left? Not much. They just got
Nothing.
faster, thinner, better camera, but they've stayed the same,
Yeah.
right? Same thing with Tesla. Like if Elon goes, the innovation might die down, but the company will still exist and do well as a stock.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm certainly seeing a lot more Teslas on the road everywhere. And so that's a good thing for
Yeah.
your, yeah. But I guess, I mean, when you talk about Apple, I don't know. I mean, we don't need to go down into the weeds, but I just feel like I mean, there haven't been any new products that I'm aware of. Maybe they're working on something, but it's just like, how many
Yeah.
iPhones can somebody have, you know?
True, but I think the biggest thing with Apple is just taking a life of its own. Now everybody's dependent on iPhone,
Yeah.
because of the App Store.
Yeah.
Like that's the main thing. People run their businesses on there, and Apple gets a
Right.
30% cut off every transaction there. So
Yeah.
they don't even need to sell phones anymore. If everybody just keeps their phones and just uses the App Store, then they got Apple Music subscriptions coming in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the same thing with Tesla. Is they're trying to do that with a full self-driving, make that into a subscription down the line. So
Mhm.
that way, all cars are just full self-driving, and they're collecting subscriptions from the cars on the road. So it's going to get to that point probably in the next 3 years.
Interesting. Interesting. Are there any other companies that well, so first of all, in order to do a live stream, do you have to have your broker's license?
For live stream. If I'm advising clients, if I'm managing their money, if I'm trading somebody else's money or giving them financial advice, then yeah, I need to have the licenses and be registered. For live stream, I'm just showing them what I'm doing. So I'm
Yeah.
not giving anybody advice on, hey, you should be doing this or you should be buying this. I'm just showing them live what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and people are free to make their own decisions on that.
Yeah. I wasn't sure because even though you're not
Yeah.
advising them to do it, they might see it as,
Yeah, people sometimes could definitely see it as that, and we make it very clear. I'm like, if you're gonna try to follow me, you don't know when I'm gonna get out. You don't know what I'm gonna do. So how do you know what I'm risking? So we try to teach people that just learn the habits of what we're doing. Try to watch, observe, and also watch when I'm losing money. How do I handle myself? Right? Watch when I'm winning money. How do I handle myself? Learn those things, and then
yeah.
try to apply it for yourself and make your own career. So we're trying to teach them the emotional part of trading because I think everybody online, people, there's so many, especially with TikTok and all these things that came out. Everybody's a trader now. Everybody's selling trading related courses or products, and I'm like, that's why we want to differentiate ourselves. I'm like, we'll just show you my own account live. Win or lose, you'll see my own P&L fluctuate. Some days I'm losing, and some days I'm frustrated, some days I'm happy. But that's the only way to learn. Just like you can't read a book on golf and go out and play great golf. You got to
Right.
actually play and watch somebody do it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you think? Well, I mean, I guess I understand what you feel is the most important thing for people to understand, right? When you're going to be trading, you got to get your head straight. You got to understand how you're going to react to things and when the tail is wagging the dog, right?
Yeah, I think the emotional part is like hands down everything when it comes to trading. And then obviously, having your own personality types. So some people make for great short-term traders. Some people make for horrible short-term traders, but they're very good as investors. So I think finding your little speciality within that is key. Not everybody's going to be a short-term trader. Half the people that come to us to learn short-term trading very quickly after 3, 6 months realize that they're not cut out for that. Because you
Yeah.
need to be really decisive. Like there's no time. Things are moving fast.
Yeah.
And it's really fast. And it could really, really affect you if you don't have it together, as far as psychology is concerned. So, but then they don't have to be disheartened that, oh, I'm not going to be ever going to be a good trader or anything like that. They become great investors. They become great long-term traders, holding stocks for a few months, few weeks, few years, rather than every single day. And then some people forget about it. They can never hold long term, right? They keep looking at it every single day. I'm like, it's a long term investment. Why are you looking at what the stock is doing today? Right. But and they can never do it long term. They're too jittery, but they make for really good short term traders. So I think finding your own personality type within that is absolutely key. Because not everybody's going to do everything the same way.
Yeah. So how does it work when you first start working with somebody? What's the process that you sort of take them through?
So first is usually people go on website livetraders.com. They make a free account. We have an iOS app they can download as well. Make a free account. There's an introductory 2 or 3 hour video course that I taught there, basics about the markets and get an understanding of how everything works.
Yeah.
They usually watch that, and then there's a free guide that comes with it. They read that, and then that will give them a really good idea on whether they should be even embarking on this adventure or not, right? Because it shows them all the downfalls, all the bad stories of all the people who lost money. Because I think that's the only way to lead people with the truth, rather than learn how to make $1,000 in 5 minutes with my course, and then people come in and realize that's not how it works. So first thing is we give them the reality of how everything works. You learn that, and then if you think this is right fit for you, then you can go on and actually join one of the programs that we have that will take them from A to Z. And it's a lot. It's like a university level education. It's 20 plus hours of like video lessons, 600 pages manual. It's huge. So there's a lot of information. And then once you've learned all the information, then you come into a live stream with me so that you can do it live with me and ask questions. Because you can learn from the book, but when the market opens, ding, 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 emotions spike when it's your real money. All of that theory gets thrown out of the whack, right? I think Mike Tyson had a saying, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. So I think that's one of the things that there's no substitute for that. So you take the courses, you come into the live room, and that's where you hone your skills and you practice every single day with me. And you watch us do it for a while. Then we might put you on a simulator account or a demo account, which is everything is real. Market movements are real, prices are real, but the money's not real.
Yeah.
Practice your skills on that, because if you can't make money with fake money, then you're not going to make money with real money. So start on a demo, get really good at it, get some consistency, learn how everything works. And then when you feel ready, then you can put your actual real money.
How long do you think it takes somebody to kind of be good at it, to be proficient to where they're going to be able to do it on their own?
It varies from people to people. For most people, a very realistic timeline, I would say at least 18 months. It's going to take. Yeah, it's just like any other skill or profession. You got to work, you got to learn. There's a learning curve. You're going to make mistakes. And then also it takes a little bit of time to actually collect the data that we need to have our system, right? So I think that's one of the things. So some people have been crushing it. They got it in the 6 months time frame. They really got it rocking and rolling. Like for example, ex-pilots, some of the clients that I've had that are ex-pilots, they make for fantastic traders because they also are unemotional. They know how to go through a checklist. Okay, check, check, check. No matter how many times they've done it, they'll still go through the checklist. They'll follow the process. Those people get it in 6 months. And then usually it's the entrepreneur type, the business type that have their own battles and, to deal with emotionally. Those people might take a year, 18 months, some 2 years, some people 3 years. Like we have traders that have been doing this for 3 years and never got it. Third year, something just clicked and then they finally got it. And then some people get it in 6 months. So it's really varies from person to person.
Yeah, interesting. It makes sense what you're saying because like pilots, there's an emergency, the plane's on fire. You're not going to be like tearing your hair out. You're going to say, okay, what do we do we do when the plane's on fire? Let's get out the list and do our thing, right? It's true. It's definitely it's partly probably the way you're born and partly the way you've trained yourself to behave, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a personality type for sure. Ex-poker players also actually make for great traders. because know when to hold him, know when to fold him, know when to play, know when to back out. It is a good skill to have that people usually coming from, let's say, a job background don't have that
Yeah,
risk mentality, right? Because as a business owner, all we're taking is risk. You
yeah,
started this
all day
podcast,
long.
it's risk. Maybe it
Right.
works, maybe it doesn't work.
Yeah,
So we're good with taking risk, but a lot of people are born into that background that they want certainty, right? They want a boss, they want a supervisor telling them what to do. In
yeah.
entrepreneurship and trading, it's you and the computer.
Doesn't
Nobody's telling you
exist.
what to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And that's the hard part for a lot of people.
It's true. I've seen people who have that 9 to 5 and then they decide, okay, I'm going to start that. I've got this dream. I'm going to start this business and I'm going to become this thing. And they really struggle with the fact that no one is imposing a routine on them.
Yeah. Yeah. Because growing up, your parents are telling you what to do. Then you go to school, your teachers are telling you what to do.
Yeah,
Then you go to college, your professor's telling you what to do. Then you get a job, your boss is telling you what to do. And then you start your own business. Nobody's telling you what to do. You
right.
got to sit there and figure it out, right? And
Exactly.
more importantly, do it. So,
It's funny that I interview a lot of entrepreneurs and almost to a person they got, got in trouble at school.
yeah, no doubt.
Unemployable, unteachable.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this since I was 18. So I've never had a job. I started in my dorm room. I was like,
Awesome.
okay, I found this one thing and I'm apparently good at. I'm just gonna stick to it. I'll burn all the boats. And I mean, I
Fantastic.
wanted to get a job. I just never got one. I
Yeah.
don't think I had the personality, and thank God I didn't, because I probably would still be there. You
Right,
know?
exactly. That's it. It's a curse. People think, oh, I can't get a job. Think, thank goodness. Go do something
Yeah,
fun,
yeah,
figure out your life.
totally.
So how can people buy the book? What's the easiest way for them to get the book or get started? Right? You said like go to your website. Give us some data.
Yeah, so when it comes to trading, the best place to go is livetraders.com. Free account, the introductory course we talked about, and the guide is all free. You can start there. There's hours and hours of lectures. Everything is free on the site. You can start getting started with that there. And then obviously then when you're ready, if you think you're going to go further, then you can talk about the courses later on. As far as my book, Prepping for Success, so the book has nothing to do with trading. It's all about psychology. It's all about mindset. It's all about things that I learned along the way.
Cool.
So it has nothing to do with trading, but that you could get on Amazon. Probably the best place to do it. And the audiobook just came out on Audible, so that's available too. It's called Prepping for Success, 10 Keys for Making It in Life. And Amazon Audible, probably the best place where most people would get it.
Excellent. So Amal, what do you wish I would have asked you that I didn't ask you? What do you want to make sure people know and understand?
I think we touched on a lot of good things, and just like what we talked about earlier, I don't want to give people more information because then just hoard all the information rather than you know acting on what we already talked about. We talked about integrity today. We talked about honoring our word. We talked about trading, investing, getting started, not hoarding the knowledge, executing on it. So I think a lot of those things are something that I would say people just to start with it. New Year's coming up, right? Whenever you're going to watch this interview, maybe watch it next year. It's already New Year's and you feel like you haven't achieved what you wanted to achieve, just set out the goals for yourself and map it out. Like, see what it looks like. Because a goal without a plan to get there is just a wish, and the wishes rarely come true. So, you got to have a actual plan behind your goals and, go out and make it happen.
Absolutely. That's great advice. Great advice. Excellent.
Thank
Super.
you.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's great chatting with you.
Great chatting with you too. This is a great way for me to sort of start my year or, with like these things in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, and thank you, listener, for listening. Who do you know that you can forward this episode to? Who do you know that needs to hear what Anmol has to say to us? Both about the trading and about just how to handle your life, being honest with yourself, being honest with others, doing what you say you're going to do, planning your work, working your plan. And for this episode to them, they will thank you. And I thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week.